necessity rather than just a lifestyle requirement, right? So many companies transitioning that phase, many older companies, many bigger companies are looking what to do digital, right? So we have this enterprise digital transformation, what we're driving across. Even some of the products what we are building are part of similar stories, right, in a way. And when we say enterprise digital transformation, it's just not IT modernization. It just does not mean that we'll revamp your assembled PC to a Dell PC, for example, right? It just does not mean that we'll take you from a rack server to maybe a cloud on Microsoft Azure, right? It's more than that. It's about what are the requirements of business to go digital, right? Is there a growth in digital, right? I mean, can we help you to grow from maybe $100 million company to $200 million company? Maybe if you're traditionally good in some domain, which is more traditional nature, not digital, and you have challenges in moving digital, which is your next inevitable transition which is required as part of the business requirements. So what things are required? What products are required? What new solutions are required? How we can innovate on top of that? So that's one story we're driving, right? Enterprise digital transformation, and that's actually business transformation, basically, right? Going digital. And wherever you think that you have some products, solutions, services in that space which will help digitize and transform the business of a traditional company, or maybe even a digital company which already exists, you will be more than happy to look at that.
So that's persistent, that's personal thought process. Yeah. You as a person, what do you think are the next drivers of technology, or the next drivers that will drive technology over the next decade?
Yeah.
Or what are those technologies per se, in those specific words, that you're most bullish about?
Yeah. No, I think since I come from that artificial intelligence background, and that's my vision, right? I would be slightly biased toward that right now. But yes, automation and artificial intelligence are two areas which are going to disrupt industries as next. And I call it as next wave of internet. Mobile, smartphones, applications, where next waves of internet in a way, right? But artificial intelligence will be next wave of internet, in across enterprise, consumer, anywhere you go. So I think that's one of the story which will build out very largely in the next 7 to 8 years. And we already see many companies working in that space, even our, companies like Infosys, which who always keeps on talking about automations and intelligence. So that's one area. Then Internet of Things, that's another area, for sure, yes. Because Internet of Things will actually drive artificial intelligence. Because once you have so much of data around, what would you do with that? You need to have intelligence. You just cannot put 100 people sitting there and mining the data and thinking their brains, what should I do with the data? So that has to be intelligence, and that has to be automated in nature. So IoT combined with artificial intelligence is what I think is next wave of internet. But for sure, cloud, mobility will continue its pace, what they are, and you will keep on seeing lots of innovations in those areas. And I'm pretty kind of in touch with those kind of technologies as well. But artificial intelligence, I would say, is on the top as next wave. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line. It may take even 7, 8 years, but once it comes, it will be like a wave of smartphones. It will just be a wave like smartphones.
So says the man. Okay. So I promised you to be democratic, and now I'll open the floor for questions. Hopefully I got a lot of stuff that we wanted to understand from you as a person, and my judgment as a Sutradhar would be both equally with a lesser number of hands and more number of hands.
Yeah.
So let's throw this, and I'm sure people are itching to ask questions. So I would request you to raise your hands and the mic will pass around. Just announce your name before you ask your question. Thank you.
Hi Akash, I'm Prasad. 2 questions. First is, do you think, just because this net neutrality is the buzzword, it lasts at least 15 days or so, or a couple of months or so. So do you think encashing or capitalizing artificial intelligence has something to against net neutrality? That is one question. And second question, as a startup, how important role of a chartered accountant or a financial advisor is?
Good. I think net net neutrality and artificial intelligence are two different things altogether. I would say artificial intelligence thing will actually help telcos, right? I mean, typically net neutrality is always associated with telcos somehow. But artificial intelligence will actually help telcos to support more and more net neutrality, right? Because artificial intelligence will help them to emerge out with lots of new business models, will help them to reduce their cost, right? And that's what they're looking for. They're investing tons of money in infrastructure, right? I mean, let's not forget that they are the father of internet, in a way. If you don't have telecom, you don't have internet, right? So they have by far all the rights to innovate on their infrastructure. I mean, we should see that as welcome move unless they're doing any restrictive access to internet, which I think is a misnomer right now. They're not doing that. It's just that understanding has to be right. They're not restricting any bandwidth, for now. Some companies might want to do that in a way, but let's forget that that's not a right way. So artificial intelligence will actually help them to innovate new business models, new revenue drivers, and reduce their costs, because lots of automation will also come in, right? So it may help. That's my personal opinion. And financial advisor plays a very key role, in any company. Sometimes we think that financial advisors are just related to payrolls, accounting, TiE software, but I would say financial advisory is I am very fortunate to work with Arvind Begatkar. He is one of the guys who was RCA, who also helped a lot in doing this transaction as well, right? Because see, it's again like an architecture, even in finance, right? If you do something wrong in first year, the repercussions of that will linger on for next few years, right? And in an ecosystem like India, which is so financially kind of oriented, right? You never know where you're going to fail, and it plays an important role even during acquisitions, during exits, during raising next round of money. If you don't have your finance thing right, how do you expect somebody else to buy you out or to even give you money? And there are very, very important things which you have to take care. Where you are putting that as an expense, where you are putting that as an as an asset or a capital expenditure, or maybe just a simple expense and so on, right? Because and it worked out very well. I mean, RCA advised us to capitalize. To capitalize what we're putting the money for. You're building a product, so let's capitalize. And why should we capitalize? We should not capitalize to save tax or so. We should capitalize to build an asset, right? And it's very important to have that thought of finance or doing that, because if you're a software industry, you're doing, let's say, a product and you have not capitalized, for example, how do you judge the valuation of your product?
We are dealing with a similar issue for a startup based out of Kolkata. And entrepreneurs typically have a very short-sighted approach. In the first couple of years, they want to expense it out and save taxes today, and now they are struggling with the valuation. I mean,
absolutely, you're right. I mean, a company might come, your balance sheet shows that you have what?
Hardly any
1,000 rupees asset, or you have what? 1 lakh rupee asset. You have this computer. That's what you call it. I'll sell it for 200 rupees, and that's what happens. A computer can be sold for even 200 rupees to people standing out in line to buy it for 200 rupees. So that's not an asset what you have. So finance plays a very important role, and end of the day you have to make sure that you are doing on core. You don't want any regulatory or authority person to take your time, because in that case it's just you have to go. Your accounting person cannot go and sit there, so you have to go. So you have to make sure that you're doing clean things, you're doing it the right way, and for that you need the right financial advisor. I would say it's like sales, technology and finance. And I'm clubbing marketing into sales, right? But sales, technology and finance are three essential components, and each has its equal role in the startup. It's 33%, 33%, 33%, right? And that's very important. And it's very important to get right people to work with you, who understand the industry. So make sure that, see, it's also very important you have very good CAs, right? And the CAs might work in specific industry, specific segment. So you have to make sure that you're selecting a financial advisor who has gone through that ecosystem or who understands that industry segment nicely. You cannot expect somebody doing manufacturing, as a financial advisor will advise you, right? And he may, and I'm not denying that fact. He may be so skilled, but it does help, because people who are already dealing with that thing knows what to do with this. And You want to scale out of India, go to US. You want to go to, I don't know, Korea, maybe Middle East. So how do you adjust your financial, right? I mean, you want to go to Bangladesh. Bangladesh